Good evening, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Sorry for the lighting here. It's really dark over here, really bright over here. I got the LED light shining right on my face. So this is normally obviously a late start to my videos if you're a regular watcher. It's really not even that late. It's like 7 o'clock. It's just obviously, you know, getting into winter and getting dark super early. So right now I'm going to be welding the bungs on my valve cover so I can finish up my catch can setup. So if you remember, I built the catch can 2 videos ago. So here it sits, got the fittings on it, and I ordered some filters, which are these, to go right here. And these things were so cheap online, they're so expensive at parts stores, and I don't know why. If you notice, my blow-off valve is now strapped on here with this big old clamp, because I tried putting the snap ring. The snap ring's in there, just will not seat in one part of it, and I'm sick of it popping off. So eventually I'll end up just welding it on, but I just don't want to take the blow-off valve apart right now. So deal with my clamp for now. The car runs good now. I turned the boost down more. I finally got it to where it's maxing at 8 psi instead of 12 psi at like half throttle like it was when I first put this turbo on. So that is all good now. This thing runs mint. So now just back to venting the motor correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and take this valve cover off here, just a few 10mm bolts if you don't already know, and then I will get the paint taken off, and we can get to welding some fittings on, so that way I can get my hoses put up. So I was able to get a hold of some Dash 10 with a bunch of fittings. I bought this for 55 bucks on eBay, I think. So, I mean, where can you find that much hose? I think that's 10 or 12 foot of AN line, and obviously like 6 fittings for 55 bucks, which I think is an incredible deal. So I'm gonna pop this valve cover off really quick, and we can get started. So here's what I'm working with as far as the valve cover is concerned. It was already shaved before I originally bought it, so I don't like that it is shaved, but obviously I can't really put that back. But we're not worried about that. We're just worried about getting these bungs welded on. So this is a cast aluminum, and these are aluminum bungs. So I'm gonna essentially be slapping one here and one on the opposite side there, on these little square pieces, you know, whatever these are, checkers, whatever. So as I understand this, obviously we don't want to go through the baffle, so we got to drill partway into it, and you can see, I mean, you can't on the camera, but I can see where the baffle is and the shadowing back here. So I'm going to try and keep it within my limits there. But other than that, it seems pretty darn straightforward. I just got to set up the drill and clean this up really quick. And I've got some brake cleaner and whatnot to help clean the surface after I drill it out, and then clean the valve cover out really good, so there's no metal shavings and whatnot. So let's get started. So I just ran into a little bit of an issue. I can only get partway through with this drill bit because I'm hitting the baffle on the other side now. So essentially I was trying to drill it out so I could sit these flush in there, because that's how these ones are supposed to be done. I don't know if you can see that lip on there, but obviously that's not going to work, so I'm going to have to try and just weld these straight on like a butt weld. And that's not really an issue, but it's not going to look as clean, just because the style of things. You can get these without that lip on the bottom, so it's more of a flush fit, but I mean, working with what I got, you know. So I don't have any bigger drill bits or even a small enough hole saw bit to actually do that, so to get the hole the size that I originally wanted. So I guess I'll just clean the valve cover now and try and get a tack on there and see how that turns out. So I've been sitting here for, I don't know, 10-15 minutes spraying this out really good with brake cleaner, going in there with paper towels and a pick and a screwdriver to help pick up any metal flakes, and I think I pretty much got it, or at least I really hope so, because if I didn't, then I'm gonna have a bad time later. But it's all cleaned up, it's all pretty much dried out now, so I'm gonna go ahead and kick the welder on really quick and get this going. Just to make you guys feel a little bit better about yourselves, giving you confidence if you're trying to weld this on yourself. This is my first time ever doing this as well, and I'm still very new to TIG welding, especially aluminum. I've maybe got like 3 hours worth of experience on aluminum, maybe 4 or so. But I don't know, I just feel a little bit more comfortable on aluminum than I do steel. But it's not that hard. I mean, I weld for my 9 to 5, but I'm a MIG welder by trade, so TIG welding is a whole new animal if you know. Yeah, I mean, if you know, then you know. So, valve cover is draining right now because I sprayed a lot of brake cleaner in there. So, give me a moment. I'm gonna set the welder up. I'm running a lower amperage. So I'll be running at 110 amps. Within 110 amps. Obviously, you know, foot control, but yeah, just normal aluminum rod with pure argon, nothing special. And I got spray pads, but the surface is already clean. I was just brake cleaned it, so we're ready to weld. So I'm having to cut the ends off of here. I didn't think I would have to, but it turns out I do because I can't get the arc underneath the shelf in here, right here. So I'm just cutting the ends off here with a cutoff wheel, and then it should be able to weld flat on just totally fine. This is going to be not only because of the tight fit on the bottom crease here, but because the aluminum alloy that the valve cover is made out of, really, you can see when you're looking at your puddle just how like bubbly it is because it's not pure aluminum, if you know, but I should be able to weld this, so I'm going to give it my best try because I kind of got one chance at this. I got the one done, and let me tell you, this is definitely not as easy as I was hoping it would be. So I had to end up pulling the tungsten out a little bit. I think that's, I mean, obviously it works, so it's okay, but I did dip my tip a few times because this, when it puddles up and when you're trying to drop your dab on this metal, at least for me, it's like wanting to grab the tip almost, so it doesn't help that I'm kind of shaky too because I'm a little nervous, but I got the one done. I don't think it's going to be leaking, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to this other one and get this taken care of and then re-clean it all and get ready to slap it back on. That second fitting did not go nearly as smooth as the first one. The first one really didn't go that smooth, but the first one looks better. The second one, that where the crease is on the bottom there, I really had to gunk it up. So it looks like chewed up bubble gum. Not my most proud welds, and again, I'm new to this, so this is all just learning fun for me. A little stressful, not gonna lie, but you know, it's on there, it shouldn't leak. I just finished wiping it down and whatnot, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this back out on the car, and come daylight tomorrow, I'll be able to get some hoses cut and you know, put this all together now. Dude, I can't see So this car is back for some more work, kind of turning in this turn this video into a two-piece, I guess, because I got my lines finished, which I gotta go pull my car in now that it's in the street. Let me do that real quick. So this morning, Ammon came by, but I had some time to kill because his house is a little bit of a distance away, and I forgot the dash 10 line is so much easier to work with than the dash 6 that I had to use for my water lines and stuff. So I went ahead and made these up. It took me probably about 25 minutes, and now I got my catch can all plumbed up. I am gonna order some heat reflective tape, like this yellow stuff, this gold stuff, so I can wrap this line because I don't like how close it is to the manifold. But no leaks, all's well and ends well. If any of you guys watched the other video where I did the clutch and whatnot on this car, I found some more issues and more things that the car needed, so the guy went ahead and ordered all the parts, and now he has brought it back to me. One of the things, if you remember, the hatch glass was shattered, so that's why I painted this hatch for him. He got this from a part out, and I painted it. Not perfect, but he wasn't expecting perfection. He's going to get the car painted in spring. So I just did what he wanted me to do. So it's getting the hatch swapped over, and then it's getting rear lower control arms, rear camber arms, rear toe arms, and then front inner and outer tie rods. So nothing too crazy. It's just the toe arm back here on this side is gonna be a pain in the butt because I gotta cut it out, cut the bolt out because it's seized to the bushing, and then the same situation with the camber arm on this side. But hopefully we can get a good chunk of this knocked out today. I got Ammon over here helping me, and I mean, hopefully it goes smoothly because I really don't want to deal with this car right now. I hate doing dirty work like that. I had to do it on the Del Sol, had to cut the toe arm out, and that's why I dealt with torn trailing arm bushings, because I needed to replace those, but I had to cut the toe arm out. So that got put on hold for like 6 months, but this guy needs this done, so I'm gonna just have to suck it up and get it done. So this thing's all jacked up in the air now. So let me show you now that I'm in here. So this camber arm, you can see the bushing ripping apart here. This bolt right here is stuck to the bushing in here. So I'm gonna have to probably end up trying to cut it out. I am gonna try torching it first, because I did soak everything in penetrating oil the last time the car left the house. And then the other issue is the toe arm on this side. This toe arm up here, same issue. Bushing is seized to the bolt. But this camber arm should come off just fine, and the control arms, we'll see, because the bolts came out just fine, but now that I'm looking at it, I forget about his ABS line here. I don't know if the new arms have the ABS line mounting points, so I'm gonna have to let him know. We got another special guest for the day.
Hi guys.
And he's here to help finish assembling Ammon's engine. But he also just got married recently, so give a round of applause in the chat for.
Thanks for telling everybody my business.
It's supposed to be a happy thing, happy day.
It's decent. It's alright.
It's alright.
It's alright.
I'm sure everybody.
Sorry.
I was gonna say, I'm sure everybody already knows that's married on the comments. I'm sure they know you're paying, so.
Oh yeah, they probably do.
Alright, well, I'm gonna go get started on that.
I'm gonna go grab.
Never get married, guys. Never.
I've been married for 10 years. It's got its good moments, its bad moments.
He's waiting
for those good moments.
2 days.
Oh, 2 days?
So I got lucky with the camber arms. This side, like I said, is the one that was seized, but the PB blaster that I left on there before seemed to work, so I got the arms out. Got the one over there and the one over there. So he's got some new blocks arms to replace them with. So if you guys really don't know how to use these, you just loosen these locking nuts on the end and adjust them accordingly. But I'm gonna just leave them pretty much how they are, because I think right out the box they're about as equal as the stock arms are. So that way when he goes to get the alignment, the technician can do his thing. But yeah, these are good to go back in. But before I do that, I'm gonna start trying to break these toe arms loose so I know if I'm gonna have to cut them off or not. But progress is progress. Well, here's the part that I was dreading. So the camber bolt, like I said, I got lucky on. This one not so much. So the control arm bolt, I'm gonna have to cut on both sides and then pull the arm off, and then I should be able to just kick those out with a screwdriver. But this inner toe arm bolt is the one that's, you know, seized to the bushing, so that's obviously the hardest one to do. I'm gonna have to end up dropping the exhaust as well, at least off the hangers, to get room for the cutoff wheel up here. And then I have to undo the trailing arm bushings to be able to drop the arms low enough to get the other bolts out. This one came out, this one did not. I mean, this one is ready to come out, it's just I have to pull the arm down, so I have to undo the trailing arm bushing here, but really beginning to hate this more and more. So, I didn't end up cutting anything yet. I just realized, let me put this here on the tripod. Okay, there we go. So I just realized that these control arms, ADA pointed out, are extremely cheap in quality. These bushings are pretty much just hard plastic on a metal sleeve. These sway bar mounting points are not threaded, nor do we have hardware to thread them or mount them. And there's no ABS mounting points on here either, so the ABS lines would just have to be zip tied or dangle or whatever. So I really don't suggest using these ones. But on top of that, there's no replacement toe arms. Oh, that's actually him calling. Alright, well, scratch everything I just said. He just called and he wants to keep the stock control arms for now. He'll upgrade, get higher quality ones as he can. And then as for the toe arms, he said he'll leave those as well. And he'll, as long as the alignment tech can get it in spec, he's not worried about it. So hopefully that is what happens. How are you doing? Clear the... Ooh, look at that. Total facial, LaFleur.
Got a brake cleaner facial, bro. Woo. Woo, doggy.
That was like straight on the cheek too. Oh dang, that's nasty. What are you doing?
Oh, don't look at me, man.
Don't look at you?
Yeah. We took this head off so we can replace it with another head that's missing other parts for some reason.
Nothing ever goes right, but the pistons are clean.
Yeah, I guess. Sure, buddy.
You seem so sad.
Yeah. Life is sad.
Sound like me. Well, I got the rear suspension put back together now. Emma just helped me lift this hatch off, and I just vacuumed out, you know, around the hatch now. And the new one is ready to go on. This is my first time seeing an Integra or a DA without a hatch, so it's kind of cool. If you guys don't already know how to take one off, you just gotta pull the headliner down right here, and then there's these two little holes right here. There's two like 10 or 12 mil bolts holding it on up top, and then you got your harness over here, and then your shock strut thingies, and the whole hatch pops right off. So pretty darn simple. But that one's ready to go back on real quick, so I can do that, and then that will be good. And then I can just do the tie rods and send this thing out of here. So I'm in here working on trying to get this inner tie rod off, and I just absolutely cannot. I know on my DA back in the day when I got them off originally, I had to use a pipe wrench, but mine were clocked differently, so I was able to fit it. These ones are clocked pretty much horizontally, so there's no room, even with the rack turned all the way to the right, so this rod is out the furthest. And this is the rod tool for the new tie rod, and this is a 17 millimeter. So the new, or the OEM ones I read are 22 millimeters, and I don't have a 22 millimeter piece in here. I've got like a bunch of really big ones, like inch and a quarter and stuff, and obviously this is the tie rod tool. But yeah, so I already text Eric and let him know, and it really sucks. I hate leaving things unfinished, but I'm gonna have to slap this old tie rod back on, so that way the new tech that works on it doesn't tear the new boot or anything. But you know, this is one of those situations where you win some and you lose some, but we got some work done, got the new hatch put on, and it looks pretty good. Not all broken anymore, just a little dirty, but it is what it is. So I'll get this thing back on the ground and it'll be ready for him to pick it up in the morning. And then progress was made on the engine, so still need a few more things.
Just more time.
Yeah. It's almost there, almost ready to make noise.
Yeah.
And then once it's broken, and then we can slap the turbo on her.
That's right, booster. See if the single jingle could beat the douche over there.
The douche.
Yeah, whatever you want. What do you call it? Douchey?
No, the Del Sol. Del Slow.
They're both dual overhead cams.
Oh, the Doach.
Doach, that's what you call it.
The Soch and the Doach.
Yeah, I got the Soch.
Yeah, we'll have to see, but progress was made on both ends today. Not as much as I wanted on that, and
We learned that the head for the automatic was exactly the same as the manual.
Yeah.
They just had the different inserts that are exactly the same, or it's a little bit different, but I could have reused my same head.
Yeah, which is a bummer to know that you spent the money and you didn't need to, but
It's alright. You live and learn.
yeah. So guys, I want to end this video here. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me again here on this video and today, or I guess the past 2 days because I was working last night. But anyways, Eric's car, I finished it up. It is out front right now. He's coming to pick it up in the morning. Really bummed that I couldn't do the tie rods because I just didn't have the tools and I didn't have access to them apparently, but that's alright. It'll get taken care of regardless, and the Del Sol is all good now, and the Integra, I gotta adjust the door because my window is not sealing like I said, and the carpet is just drenched right now because of condensation in the car, but it is what it is. I gotta try and work that out. But anyways guys, if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that bell, that way you get notified whenever I upload, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So do what you love, forget about the rest, and keep killing it. Peace out.